Picture a classroom. A kindergarten classroom full of young students. The teacher decides to get the students drawing. Children love drawing. So she hands out the paper, hands out the crayons, and tells them, you can draw anything you want. And after a little while, she goes out to check on the students to see what kind of pictures they've drawn. And there's one young boy, and on his paper there's a whole series of a line of blue dots. There's just blue dots and blue dots and blue dots. The paper's full of them. And the teacher says, that's very nice. What is it? The boy says, it's a man walking his dog in the park. Why can't I see the man, or the dog, or the park? And the boy looks at her and says, that's because it's raining. Very hard. And the boy's name was Connor. And Connor is my son. And even now, many years later, Connor is older, but he still doesn't like drawing. He doesn't like to imagine the pictures. He prefers the teacher to tell him the rules of what to do. And that can be good and bad. It can be good because he goes to a local Taiwan school and that's where they teach him. They teach him the rules. But it can be bad because you need to be able to see the picture. Take maths, for example. My wife and I, like most parents in Taiwan, help Connor with his homework. And I might add that my parents never helped me with my homework when I was younger. But I live in Taiwan, so do as the Romans do. And my wife helps my son with his Chinese, and I help him with the maths. Because if I help him with the Chinese, well, so I help him with the maths. And that's okay, because I like maths. Actually, can I check? How many people here like maths? Oh, a few, but not so many. Maybe that's because you were taught maths the same way that my son is taught maths. Let me give you an example. At the moment, he's in 6th grade, and right now, they're studying about time and distance and speed, and how to change between them. Example, they have questions like, John walks to school in the morning. He walks at 30 meters per minute for 10 minutes. Then his father comes by in the car, picks him up in the car, takes him the rest of the way to school at 33 kilometers per hour for 5 minutes. How far is the school? I don't want to digress, but who writes this rubbish? And so it does, what kind of family makes their son walk for 10 minutes, then drives the car for 5 minutes? And it's not just this one, there are many questions like this. There are questions like, mother buys 30 oranges and 15 apples. She gives 6/10 of the oranges to her son and 3/4 of the apples to her son's friend. What is the ratio of the oranges and apples she has left? What? What kind of mother gives 6/10 of the apples to her son? This is not exactly the real world. And this, ladies and gentlemen, this is my first point. Math is about the real world. It has meaning and reality in the world, and we need to be able to see that. And I try to help my son to see that. So when we have his homework, I look at the homework book and we look at the questions, and first I try to draw it out. A is walking at 20 meters per minute and B walks at 25 meters per minute, but A gets a 5-minute head start, so how long does it take B to catch A? Well, if you draw it out, you have a little picture, a diagram, and you can see which number to take away from which number and to divide by what. And that's the answer. But you've got to see what the numbers mean, because the numbers do have meaning. And that's not the way my son is taught in school. Now, he's taught the numbers. He's taught the ratio that you multiply and divide. He's taught the rules. He's taught the mechanics of what to do, but not why. And I think that's a mistake. My second point. Math isn't just numbers and calculations and follow the rules. Math is a tool to help you to understand the world. And the world is beautiful, and maths is beautiful. And you need to be able to see that. And when you see that the numbers connect to the world, then you can see that maths is a tool to help you to learn. And you can understand the maths, and it helps you to learn and remember and use that tool to understand the world. But maybe you need to be introduced to that to see it. You need to be shown what numbers mean. It's not just mind-numbing numbers and following rigid rules and crunching calculations. It has meaning. Maybe it's a bit like my son's drawing of the man and the dog. But you couldn't see the man because the rain was in the way. Sometimes you can't see the beauty of the maths because all those numbers and calculations are in the way. We need to tell our children how to see through those numbers, to be able to see that maths is easy, and maths also can be a beautiful picture. Toastmasters leaving.